The secret of the Stirling engine. In a small village, hidden between rolling hills and silent forests, lived a brilliant but eccentric inventor named Elias. He had dedicated his entire life to developing machines that ran on clean energy. Elias had secluded himself in his workshop, an old barn that stood on the edge of the village, with plumes of smoke that sometimes curled mysteriously from the chimney. The villagers often whispered about what he did in there. Some believed he was trying to find eternal life, others thought he was working on a machine that could make gold. But no one had ever dared to ask, until the day a curious girl named Lot decided it was time to find out. Lot was different from the other children in the village. She was curious, had a passion for science, and often tinkered with old devices that she found in the scrap heap. She had heard stories about Elias and his strange devices, and one story in particular had fascinated her: the legend of the Stirling engine. The Stirling engine was an old invention, invented in the 19th century, that worked by exploiting differences in heat without the need for combustion. It had once surpassed the power of steam engines, but was forgotten with the advent of internal combustion engines. According to village legend, Elias had built a version of the Stirling engine that never stopped, a machine that, once started, would run forever as long as there was a small source of heat available. One stormy afternoon, Lot decided to follow her curiosity and go to Elias's workshop. She knocked 3 times on the heavy wooden door. There was a long silence, until the lock slowly opened and Elias, with his wild gray hair and glasses covered in scratches, appeared. "What do you want?" he growled, but not unkindly. I want to see the Stirling engine. The legendary engine that everyone talks about," Lot stammered. Elias looked at her intently for a moment, as if trying to decide whether she was trustworthy. To her surprise, he nodded slowly. "Come in," he said, and led her into the workshop. The interior was a wonderland of machinery, gears, and intricate drawings hanging on the walls. On a large workbench in the center of the room stood the device Lot had heard about all her life, a Stirling engine. But it was no ordinary engine. This was a complex and refined version, with gleaming steel and copper that glittered in the dim light. Elias gave a brief explanation. "This engine works without fuel like you're used to. It uses a small heat source. Even the difference between your palm and the cold air would be enough to keep it going. The secrets of this version are the materials and the precision with which it is built. It could function with nothing more than the heat of a candle flame." He took a small candle, lit it, and placed it under the engine. To Lot's surprise, the engine began to move slowly, the pistons working in perfect harmony, without smoke or noise. The engine worked as if it were a living organism, a breathing machine that peacefully did its work without disturbing the world. "Why doesn't anyone use this?" Lot finally asked, her eyes wide with wonder. Elias looked at her, his eyes full of melancholy. "The world loves speed, power, and destruction. They chose machines that devour a lot of fuel, without thinking about the consequences. But I believe that the time of the Stirling engine is yet to come. Perhaps, when people start to appreciate simplicity again." Lot knew then that she had not just seen an engine, but a symbol of what the world could be, a place where technology and nature worked together in harmony. She looked at Elias with a smile. "I believe you are right. And I want to help." From that day on, Lot spent her time in Elias' workshop. Together they worked on new versions of the Stirling engine, hoping that their little invention would one day change the world. And so, deep in a forgotten village, the seed was planted for a greener future, powered by the timeless power of the Stirling engine.